So this is the second lecture of computer architecture EC 502 for EC. Now previously in the previous class for the lecture 1 we are end with before this slide step to the modern computer. Now today we will discuss the step to the modern computer definitely, but before that we will first study the generation of the computers or different types of the computer first. So first of all, computer types. So these are the different computer types available. First one is your microcomputer, second one is your laptop computer, third one is your workstation, fourth one is your supercomputer, fifth mainframe, sixth handheld, and seventh multi-core. These are the possible different version of the computers available today. Now definition of the each of the type. Now first one is your microcomputer. Now the invention of the microprocessor means CPU on a chip, gives rise to the microcomputer, that is small, low cost and single user machine. It is also called the personal computer. This inexpensive computer is designed to use on a small desk or even to carry. This class of computer is very much popular due to its high performance per cost ratio and size. The more powerful microcomputer designed to perform scientific application is IBM PC series brand with Intel 8086 family processor. Also the Apple's and Motorola's family are example of these computers are available. Now next one is your laptop, a portable compact computer that run on power supply or a battery unit. That means it is a very small device, or you can say this is the version of the modern computer version. So all components are integrated as one compact unit, and it is generally more expensive than comparable desktop because the size of the device has decreased and desktop size is more than the laptop. So it is also called a notebook. Next, workstation, powerful desktop computers designed for specialized tasks, that is called the workstation. Now generally used for tasks that require a lot of processing speed. Can also be ordinary personal computer attached to a LAN. That means that workstation is, you can third, there is a server situated in any of the organization, and the people work in the organization, they have a computer assigned to them and they perform different type of powerful or the specialized tasks. So each of the people is assigned a computer that is connected to the server, works on the server, depends on the server. So that machine is also called the workstation. Next is the supercomputer. This is the class of the computer most powerful and most expensive computers available today. This computer is designed to perform fast using multi-processing and parallel processing. Okay, multi-processing means it can perform the different type of tasks at the same time. Also the parallel processing, the same meaning, the techniques. This machine is specially used for complex scientific application like weather forecasting, satellite launching, climate research, nuclear research. Popular supercomputers are Cray, CRAY, Cray 1, PowerPC, etc. An important point to be noted that today's supercomputer tend to become tomorrow's the normal computer. That means as the age goes on, as previously we have a computer of the size of a room, now we have a laptop in our hand. So today's supercomputer, whatever we are seeing, that may be become after 20 or 30 years the normal computer, and again at the time supercomputer becomes 2 or 3 times faster than the today. Next is the mainframe computer. Now the mainframe computer is a large computer system consisting of thousands of IC which is physically distributed in more than one place. The computer is designed for intensive computational tasks and used by large organizations, banks, railways and hospital. Mainframe computers is often shared by multiple users connected to the computer through several terminals. This computer is very expensive. Examples include IBM system, UNIVAC. We have previously studied the UNIVAC. So that is the version of the mainframe. So mainframe is not actually situated, you cannot think of mainframe computer as a single device. It is actually distributed over different parts of the organization, and it is used for perform different complex computational tasks where more number of computation are required, then mainframe computers comes into picture. Also it is very much expensive. Now this handheld computer, it is also called the PDA, personal digital assistant, a computer that fits into a pocket, runs on batteries and used while holding unit in your hand, typically used as an appointment book, address book, calculator or notepad. CPU on a chip, that is the example. It's multi-core, have multiple cores, parallel computing platform, many cores of computer elements in a single chip, typically example Sony PlayStation, Core 2 Duo processor, i3, i7, etc. So that is the version of the multi-core computer. So we are studying the computer architecture or the organization. Now the computer organization refers to the structure of a computer. Now the computer is actually consisting of CPU. CPU is the central processing unit. The central processing unit performs different kind of computational tasks, and without the memory a computer or the microprocessor cannot work. So you can see in the diagram that CPU is consist of the control unit or the arithmetic logic unit and the different version of the CPU, and there is a address bus, read write bus, data bus that has to be connected with the memory, because without the memory you cannot write the different type of instruction which computer is supposed to do. Okay, so that's why CPU, computer organization structure of a computer, is CPU connected with some different type of bus. Bus is nothing but wire connected with the memory. So memory and the CPU, these are the two basic unit of a computer. So what is computer architecture? Computer architecture has different version of definitions. So different scientists has defined with a different word. First one is the design of integrated system. Integrated means IC technology, which provides a useful tool for programmer. Next scientist has said that the study of structure, behavior and design of computer. And next one, the design of a system specification at a general or a subsystem level. Next, the art of designing a machine that will be pleasure to work with. Next one, the interference between the hardware and the lowest level of software. So that means computer architecture is basically deals with the structure of the computer, how computer actually works, how program has to be written within it, what are the different type of version, what are the different type of program instruction, and how the hardware of the computer is connected with the software level. That means the interface between them, that has to be studied in the computer architecture first. Now these are the common themes of computer architecture: design, structure, art, system, tools for programmer and application. Programming is the main basic thing. Without the programming you cannot do computer to do anything. So that is the main part, and that's why you require memory. Interface, and next one is your interface. Thus computer architecture refers to those attributes of the system that are visible to the programmer, and those attributes that have a direct impact on the execution of the program. So instruction set, data representation, the how data is represented in hexadecimal or the decimal or the octal, like that. Now different type of addressing mode is there: memory mapped IO, IO mapped IO, and this is the IO version. And instruction set, there is without the knowing the instruction set you cannot write a program. So that are the different version that is visible to the programmer. Now computer organization, synonym with the architecture in many users and textbooks. So we will use to mean that the underlying implementation of the architecture transparent to the programmer. And architecture can have a number of organizational implementation: control signal technologies, device implementation. So whenever we have studied in the microprocessor architecture, 8085 architecture is actually deals with the pin diagram of the 8085, and how the pin is actually works, what are the different type of addressing mode is there, what are the different type of instruction set is there, what is the timing diagram. That are all the architecture is actually composed of. That means how the device will function, that is all thing is have to be studied within the architecture or the organization. Now these are the four level of computer description. First one is your global system structure, and within this there is a processor, control modules, memory modules, interconnected structure. That is the black box. Okay, black box approach in the global system architecture. Next one is the processor level. Processor level means architectural feature is specified in the processor, that means the interface, instruction set, data representation, or the more detailed individual component specification. That I have already said what are the actual architecture is means. Next one is your register level. Register levels means there is a primitive, that is registers, counter, memories, ALU, arithmetic logic unit, clock, combinational logic. That are the different inner version of the memory unit or the processor that is built with. These are the different digital building block of the computer. Now the gate level. Now if you go down this level, so you can thought of a, that means register can be designed with the help of different type of gates in the digital electronics. So that is the different type of approach: gate level, register level, processor level, and the global level. So that is the highest level of architecture, processor level, and that is the lower level of architecture or the lower level of view of a computer system, that is the gate level. Okay, so next we will discuss the steps to the modern computer. Now steps to the modern computer, what we have left with. So there is a different type of computer generation is there. Computer has not evolved. What we have seen today, that computer has not evolved to in a single day. That has to be come across different type of generations and the invention. So first generation is deals with the vacuum tubes. Vacuum tubes means whatever amplifier you have seen, that means the transistor. Transistor is an amplifier. Whatever amplifier today you are seeing with the help of the transistor, that may be the BJT, maybe the CMOS, maybe the MOSFET, whatever transistor or the amplifier device you have seen today, that has to be previously transistor. Whenever transistor is not invented, then the vacuum tubes perform that function exactly. But the problem with that the vacuum tube size is very much bulky than the transistor. So that's why whatever computer that time have been built with the help of these vacuum tubes, that means to perform the different computational tasks with the help of these vacuum tubes have been built. Size of the computer obviously must be higher, because the size of the vacuum tube is higher, and also the computational speed is slower. And vacuum tubes, one of the major disadvantage is the heat dissipation. That means vacuum tubes often falls down. Okay, that means the heat dissipation capacity of the vacuum tube is not very good. That's why the system actually fails every time. So next generation of the computer is, and also the hardware specification, the hardware features of these technologies is fixed point arithmetic, and the software features is machine language, assembly language. And the computer built with this first generation is UNIVAC, IAS, Institutes of Advanced Studies, ENIAC, and the different type of that computer have been built with the first generation, that last from 1946 to 1954. Now second generation. Now the second generation is comes into the transistor. So all the vacuum tubes have been replaced by the transistor. Okay, so advantage of the transition from vacuum tube to the transistor is that the main advantage is that the size of the device drastically reduced. Okay, because the transistor size is very much less. That is the main advantage of this. And this era of the second generation lasts from 1955 to 1964. And hardware features of this type of generation of the computer is floating point arithmetic can be performed with the help of the second generation computer. And software features is that high level language and the different type of subroutine are accepted with this version of this computer. And example of this computer is IBM machine 7094. Next is third generation computer. Now the third generation computer, from the third generation onwards, the integrated circuit comes into picture. Now the integrated circuit is a technology which combines all the transistor. Previously the transistor, there is a transistor also, but previously this transistor size is much higher. But with the help of this is a technology. Integrated circuit is a process technology. Okay, so how transistor has been fabricated, how transistor size can be reduced. Okay, so transistor size is further reduced with the help of this integrated circuit technology, so that the computer size, and also the technology name is small scale integration and medium scale integration, that has to be associated with this era that lasts from 1965 to 1974. And microprogramming, hardware features of this generation of the computer is microprogramming, pipelining, cache memory, etc. And software features is that multi-programming operating system, virtual memory, etc. And computer, different example of the computer in this generation is IBM 360, DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation, PDP-8, etc. Next is the fourth generation. Fourth generation is associated with the microprocessor that we have been studied. Okay. So, and also the integrated circuit technology associated with this era is large scale integration and very large scale integration. These are the two technologies associated with the fourth generation computer, which last from 1975 to 1978. With the help of the modern technology like LSI and VLSI, the size of the computer obviously decreases, and we can also incorporate a large memory, semiconductor memory, with a very small physical size. Okay, so we can incorporate a high amount of memory in the computer system. That is the advantage. And hardware specification of the computer is microprocessor, microcomputer, etc. Software features of this version is real-time OS, parallel language, and RISC processor, etc. And computer name of this generation is Motorola 68020 and Intel 8086 family. So that is the invention of the microprocessor era. And the next version or the last version is today's era, that is the artificial intelligence era, that started from 1979 and last today, or actually it is 1979 to onwards. And technology associated with this type of computer is ultra large scale integration, that means ULSI circuit and optical discs. Optical disc is associated with the memory. And hardware features of this computer is embedded system and massive parallelism. Parallelism means a large number of computation can be done at the same time. That is the main features of the hardware features of this version of the computer. And software features is multimedia, artificial intelligence, internet. That is the different software features available in this computer. And example of this computer is Intel Xeon, dual core, i3, i7, whatever computers available today, that is the 5th generation computer. So I have already said that this is the first generation computer, as this is also used in World War II. And this is 1940 to 1954 or 56, etc. Okay, so this is the first generation computer, and these are all built with vacuum tubes. I have already said that. And magnetic dumps are used for memory device. Vacuum tubes are used for building the processor. And next generation this is the example of the first generation computer, and now goes into the second generation computer, which actually lasts from almost 1955 to 1964. And this type of computers is actually built with the help of the transistor, which is the next version of the vacuum tube. Also, transistor has been invented in the Bell laboratories. So I have already said this generation of the computer is associated with the transistor, and size of the transistor is generally less than the vacuum tube. So the size of the computer of the second generation computer actually less than the first generation computer, which is built with the vacuum tube. Okay, and also we are used, as the size of the transistor is decreased, so we can incorporate some sort of memory of the stored program from this generation of the computers. And this is also more reliable and the solid state version of the computer, first solid state version of the computer. This is more stable than the first generation computer. This is the few example of the second generation computer. Now third generation computer, as I have already said, that the third generation computer integrated circuit technology comes into picture. And as integrated circuit technology comes into picture, you can see that the integrated circuit technology and the semiconductor comes into picture from this generation. So you can also incorporate the large number of memory or the high amount of memory in the processor for the stored program or the different functionality purpose. And also operating system also has been introduced from there. So this is the third generation computer. Also punch card also introduced in this generation. And this is the example of the IBM machine, third generation computer, IBM 360. Fourth generation, 1971 to 1978 or 80 almost. This is the fourth generation. Fourth generation actually The microprocessor era, technology associated with the LSI and VLSI technology, and the semiconductor memory, large amount of semiconductor memory also can be placed in the computer system because of the very low physical size of the memory and the high amount of memory associated. And this type of computer began to catch the eye of the general public soon because this is sophisticated software equipment or design, and the internet facility comes into picture from this generation of the computer. This is the example. And fifth generation computer is the artificial intelligence era. Now artificial intelligence era, this is a computer, but parallel processing is the main advantage of this generation of the computer. And you can see this is the robot, some type of robot. This is also a computer performing different type of tasks at the same time with the help of different type of instruction written. So this is the age of the artificial intelligence and the modern computer. This is the fifth generation, and the fifth generation actually defines by ULSI technology, ultra large scale integration technology, and supercomputer also falls into this category of the computer. So that is all about the generation and the history of the computer and what is the definition of the computer architecture. I have already said that. So from the next lecture onwards we will study the number system, instruction set, memory organization, etc. Thank you.